Oh, hello, this is Tak Chung from Walk with Tak. Welcome to my YouTube channel. If you enjoyed this video, please like, subscribe, and share. I would love to hear from you. Any question that you might want to ask me, please write me at walkwithtak@gmail.com. I will answer your questions as soon as possible. A viewer wrote me recently and told me that he now cooks all his meals. He said he used to like fast and ultra-processed food, and partly because it is convenient, and partly he doesn't have much of a choice, but now it's no longer the case. Now he loves chicken. He would like to cook chicken more often himself, but he found it difficult because each time when he brought the chicken back from the store, he did not know what to do with them. Quite often, he separated them and take individual of the chicken breast. He will froze them. However, each time when he wanted to have chicken, it's difficult to thaw them out. He has to plan in advance. Quite often, he needs to take them out from the freezer and put them in the refrigerator before he went to work. After he adopted my fast cooking system, he found a better way to deal with the situation. Now, when he brought the chicken back from the store, instead of froze them, he would cut them up into sizes that were appropriate for stir frying. It usually took him about 30 minutes to cut up about 5 pounds of chicken. And then he stored them in Ziploc sandwich bag in the proportion that he would like to use in his stir fry dishes. He usually stored them in about 8 ounces package. And he stored them in Ziploc sandwich bag. And what he did is that he will only put in about 1/3 to fill the bag. And then he will press them as flat as possible, at the same time remove all the air. And then he would freeze them in the freezer. Now after they being frozen, he can store them in a straight up position. Now this has a tremendous advantage because of the large surface area. When he put the chicken into a bowl of lukewarm water, the chicken will thaw out in about 5 to 10 minutes. This is very nice because he do not want to thaw them out in a microwave oven. Now this turned out to be an excellent method. I developed this method with the idea is that I want home cooking to be practical, efficient. And the practicality means that you can cook anytime you want. Efficiency is that the time you spend to prep the chicken allow you to maximize the time you spend. So the chicken that you prep, you can use it in a later time. So in this case, you spend about 30 minutes to cut up 5 pounds of chicken. And if you store them like I did in 8-ounce portions, I will have 10 different meals already prepared. Every night when I want to have chicken, I just put them in a bowl of lukewarm water, then I'm ready to go. So the time you spend is well worthwhile in prepping the chicken and to make cooking later more efficient. Now, of course, this method can be used not just only for chicken, but can use for any other proteins as well. And the key is that when you pack the chicken, as I've shown here, I only fill the chicken in about 1/3 of the Ziploc sandwich bag, because then I can spread it out into a thin layer. Now that is very important because we know that any time when you thaw out proteins, it is not advisable to thaw it out in a microwave oven because it will quite often will cook the chicken. And so the best way is that you will freeze them in a thin layer and then you can store them in the freezer. And in this case, the advantage is that I wrote the date on the top flap of the chicken. So when I put them in a vertical position, it works almost like a file folder. And when you thaw them out, if you just use a little bit lukewarm water, in fact, I discovered as soon as I run water over it, the chicken will start to thaw. And one important thing I have learned from the past is that when you thaw out chicken like this, or any type of meat when you thaw out, they tend to have a lot of moistures. So it is important for you to remove the moisture as much as possible. First is to drain it, and then use some sort of paper towel or use a sponge towel that will allow you to absorb the moisture. Efficiency is essential. Anything you do, you want to do it in such a way that it means something. Now, over the years, I have found many different ways to help me to be efficient. I will eliminate any step that seems to be unnecessary, or any steps might not give me the kind of return I'm looking for. In this case, is the amount of time that I can save. As you can see here, cutting the chicken in such a way and package them, this will allow you to eat chicken anytime you want, as well as extremely efficient. To give a good flavor to the chicken, I coat it with cornstarch. Cornstarch is truly a versatile carbohydrate that you can coat your proteins. First of all, it can give it a very light breading, but it can also protect it from getting dry, which I will show you a little bit later. To enhance the flavor of the chicken, I'm going to add a little bit of my basic seasoning mix. I create this basic seasoning mix based on my experience of using different herbs and spices. This turned out to be an efficient way to allow me to cut down the time that I need to put everything together. Now, I have this seasoning mix on Amazon, and you can give it a try, and I will put the link below the video. Okay, now I'm ready to cook. I'm going to cook this in my Cucina 14-inch stainless steel wok. I'm going to season the wok with my spot seasoning method to create a non-stick cook surface. Now I'm going to add the chicken to the wok. But stir frying is a very flexible cooking technique. You can cook it in many different ways. For this chicken dish, I'm going to stir fry it with the fermented black soybean. Now, fermented black soybean has been around for a long time. It dated back about a couple thousand years ago. It's one of the earliest soybean products. It is fermented, and usually it is mixed with garlic as well. When I add them to the wok, I'm going to let it to fry a little bit, because that will give the fermented black soybean a nice texture. Stir frying is a very flexible cooking technique. Some minor changes can make quite a bit difference in terms of the outcome. In this case, I stir fry the chicken almost immediately. Now, in the past, when I coat the chicken with cornstarch, sometimes I use a method called shallow frying. I will lay out the chicken on the flat surface of the wok, and I will let the chicken to fry on one side before I turn it over to fry the other side. Now, in this case, I'm going to fry the chicken directly without doing the shallow frying. So I'm using the wok and stir fry it together with the fermented black soybean. The purpose of this is that to allow the fermented black soybean to penetrate into the flavor, and it will make the dish has a stronger flavor. Now, the fermented black soybean is a little bit salty because it contains salt. However, it has that smoked soybean flavor, and it provides an unusual and unique taste to the chicken. Now, some people really like it, and some people less so. So then, now I add some jalapeno pepper, followed by some scallions. Now, this together will create a flavor that will provide a little bit of spiciness, plus that unique fermented black soybean, and then also the flavor of the scallions. Together, they will create an unusual dish. Using this method to cook the chicken, you notice that the chicken has a slight coated texture, but it's not crispy as if I would fry it first using the shallow frying method. Now, with the stir frying method, it actually allows me to keep the chicken moist and tender inside, and it makes quite a bit difference. And if you compare this method with just stir fry the chicken as it is, you will find this method a little bit more tasty, as well as give the chicken a more tender texture. A lot of time, by making small changes, you can make significant impact on the outcome of the dish. And that's why I think it's very important to continue to experiment with your stir frying. And sometimes through intuition, you will come up with a unique flavor. And this will make home cooking interesting And this is why I think it is great to be able to explore. I post a video each day to help you to make home cooking as part of your daily routines. If you would like to learn more about my fast cooking system, please subscribe to this YouTube channel. So keep on cooking. I will see you tomorrow.